It's always been part of me to want to ride a bike and want to explore whatever area, whatever terrain I'm in on a bike. I had never moved outside of the state. I had never I'd been to a couple of places and spent like the summer there. You know, I'd been to like Oklahoma and Texas and stuff like that. And I had my girlfriend at the time wanted to move to San Francisco, and we were going to go stay with her sister. And kind of we're talking about this trip, and then we're like, wait, why don't we just ride bikes there? Like, we don't have that much stuff. Like, we'll sell your car, we'll get rid of the stuff, like, let's just do it. And she, you know, it was her idea. She totally talked me into it, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. I had this big, like, cargo bike, one of those surly big dummies. And so we just loaded that thing down and loaded her bike down and got a bunch of, like, used camping equipment and headed off for San Francisco, kind of in, you know, the idea was we were going to move there and get jobs when we got there.
From where?
From Pensacola. So really it's like, you know, as far northwest as you can get in Florida. Kind of everything else is Alabama. It's kind of lower Alabama. So we rode through Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, all of Louisiana, Texas. And really when we got to Texas, it changed. Her sister was like, okay, well, I'm moving back to Pensacola, so, you know, good luck. And I had this friend that was in Portland, and this is, you know, a quarter of the way into the trip now, and we're staying in Houston at my aunt's house. So we had like a week over there, kind of recuperating from the first part of it. And I had this friend that moved to Portland, this like BMX friend of mine, Adam, and he was like, I'm sleeping in a sleeping bag in this like big apartment, just come stay with me for a while. And we're like, okay, cool. And we headed up through the rest of Texas, and then like catty corner through New Mexico and Arizona and Idaho. And it was awesome. We made it to Oregon, and then like we were gonna ride down the coast. We got to Portland, and it was like, wait, no, this is awesome. Like, this is the best place ever. There are bikes everywhere. The town is just like super cool. There's good food. I got a bike shop job in like 3 or 4 days, like once we were there. And it was awesome. It was, you know, 3,600 miles or so. I think it was like 2.5 or 3 months we took. We hit a bunch of really cool places between, like, I say really cool. A lot of them were kind of just, they were just small towns, but like, you know, when you're traveling by car through these towns, you look at them and you're like, okay, that looks like a small town. Great, move on. We got gas or something. But when you're on a bike, like you meet the people there. You meet these interesting people or seemingly uninteresting people that turn out to be, I don't know, the mayor or like some famous photographer that takes you in for a week at her house and, you know, gets your clothes laundered and buys you dinner at expensive restaurants, you know? So you have these experiences riding bikes where you would never get it, driving in a car or commuting, you know, via airplane from place to place, dropping in, hitting the spots, and then leaving. We camped in people's backyards, literally knocking on people's doors and saying like, hey, do you mind if we like camp in your backyard? And then, you know, they're like seeing this skeptical old woman like, yeah, okay, sure, but you know, my husband with his guns are gonna be home, and you know, so don't try anything. And then in the morning they figure out like, oh, you're totally harmless, have some coffee and breakfast with me. So it's an interesting way to like travel and meet people and see like the genuine side of people. It was always this thing where, you know, before leaving Pensacola, everyone was like, I don't want you to do this. Like, do you want a handgun? Like, I can get you one. Like, you'll need one. You'll need something. Like, don't talk to anybody. Don't go to people's houses. Like, you're gonna die. Everyone's gonna die. It's the end of the world. Like, don't do it. And honestly, like, besides a couple of people honking at us, it was like, it totally reaffirmed my faith in humanity. You go from like totally not trusting anyone at like the gas station parking lot in your car to following some stranger home who's offered you up a place to stay for the night or and then like takes you to their family reunion or something. I don't know. It's like, it's a totally amazing way to see the country or anywhere. And see people. And I loved it. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Yeah.